Namaste friends, you are welcome to our Vedic Updates YouTube channel. Today we are very fortunate to having with us Mr. George. He is a spiritual person and devoted his entire life for Kashmir Shaivism. On the occasion of Bhagwad Geeta Jayanti, Mr. George is here with us to share his views, valuable thoughts with us. Well, you are most welcome, George.
Thank you.
First of all, we would like to know what do you think on what is the relevance of Bhagavad Gita in present time?
I think everybody understands that Bhagavad Gita is a timeless manuscript. You can't really relate it to past times. And in the relevant time, you can say Bhagavad Gita is the perfect teaching tool, because people say, oh, the world is so upside down today. But look at the time of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna was about to go to war. The world at the moment is on the brink of war. So the advice given by Lord Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna, to Arjuna is relevant today. How to approach this situation when everything around you seems to be falling apart.
And in the continuation of this talk, I would like to ask another question. How do you explain the Bhagavad Gita management system? Whenever we think or talk about the management, there is a very valuable place of Bhagavad Gita. So how do you explain the Bhagavad Gita management system to the youth of India? What do you think?
The oldest management system is what Vyas tried to portray in the whole of the Mahabharata. And the oldest management system is the management of life. There's four aspects of life: dharma, arth, kam, and moksha. So how do these terms relate to what we do today? So dharma means right action. Arth generally means earning of wealth. But how do you earn wealth? You have to go to a college like this first. The real wealth is knowledge. And you have to love what you're doing. If you don't love what you're doing, your life isn't fulfilling. Calm can be related in many ways, but it also means devotion. One-pointed devotion to what you're doing. Devotion to your family, devotion to your children, devotion to your own spiritual practice. Look at it's always there. Look at athletes. They're solely devoted to their discipline and they become, good. But if that devotion wanes, so right action, dharma, artha, earning wealth, but earning wealth through the knowledge we gain. Third, devotion to what you're doing. And if you have all of those things, it comes out as moksha. Now, moksha means liberation, but it also means fulfillment in life. If those three things, the first three things, are done correctly, then you have fulfillment in life. It may not be liberation, it may not be moksha, it may not be jivan mukti, but you will feel fulfilled. So that, in terms of management, nothing like it. Those four principles apply to every level of life.
Yeah, okay, very good. George, nowadays we see that our youth is involved in stress, depression, anxiety. So how can we manage today's stress, depression and anxiety through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita? How Bhagavad Gita can be useful to manage all this stress and anxiety and all?
This is probably the most important question, because not just the youth, but everybody is feeling stressed. Okay, put yourself in the position of Arjuna. He's faced with a war. He's completely overwhelmed by what he has to do now, killing his own kith and kins, and it sends him into a state of depression. So much so that he drops his weapons and he sits down on the ground. He can't move. He's immovable there, undecided. what does Krishna do? The first thing he does, he lifts him up and tells him, why are you so shrunken? Why is this glani, this shanka, this doubt and everything come over you? Just stand up and do this. But he adds with that, in 6th chapter, Krishna teaches Arjuna how to meditate, how to relax. So much in the world today, people are saying meditate, do yoga to relax. The first thing, if you're feeling stressed, the first thing to do is to relax. And the first thing we do when we're stressed is, what do? Somebody says, you're stressed, you say, take a breath, stop. You take a breath and you feel relaxed. Most practices of meditation involve, especially in Kashmir Shaivism, involve the use of the breath, becoming aware of just even the flow of the breath, turning points in breath. There are so many practices that involve breath. So the real lesson of how to overcome your stress is not by analyzing the stress, not by analyzing it and thinking, why am I so like it? As Arjuna tried to do. Krishna taught him a practical application of meditation, this abhyas, this sadhana, that in the 6th chapter, it's all there, from I think verse 11 right through to 14 or 15. He tells him, this is what you have to do. You have to sit still. Everybody knows the basics of meditation. And if you do that, even just for a short time, twice a day, you will see the stress in your own life will start to disappear.
To learn dharma, artha, kam and moksha is I think it's a difficult thing for common people. A huge population residing in India, in villages. So on that context, I would like to ask one thing, what that is, how the Bhagavad Gita could be useful to address the daily life issues of a common people who is illiterate, who is living in villages of India.
Okay, that's a tricky question. But one thing is there, this right action, dharma. Everybody has a choice. And this choice comes up because in Indian philosophy, they say our intellect, our buddhi. When we see something, we can interpret it two ways. We can see it as negative, or we can see it as positive. And this happens for every human being. Whatever we look at, we view it in two ways. And in the West, we say we either see the glass, we say it's half full, or it's half empty. It depends on how you view the world around you. So the Gita, through the teachings of the Gita, especially in some of the later chapters where Krishna describes to Arjuna the nature of those people that are around us, the nature of the people in our world, how we view them determines how we behave in the world. Not with the Bhagavad Gita, but there's a very interesting question that Ram asks to Vasishta in the Yoga Vasishta. Ram says, how do I know a person's true nature? I'm surrounded by so many people. How do I know what is somebody's real inner nature? And Vasishta gives a very interesting answer. He says, don't watch people, don't judge them when everything is going fine. Judge them when their world is turned upside down. See how they react. So there are many examples of how to look at the world and how to gauge the world around us. But this idea of it comes back. It doesn't matter whether you're a simple villager or you're an advanced, student of high intellectual learning, or you're a yogi. The practice of meditation, the practice of sitting quietly and just observing our own nature, observing the mind, having some practice, mantra, japa, even bhajans, it clears things away and our perception of the world around us changes automatically. There isn't something that you have to do. It happens automatically.
So good. Thank you very much, George, for sparing your valuable time with us. And lastly, I would like to ask, you come from America, and what the common people of America thinks about the Bhagavad Gita. What they think?
You know, some of these very recognized teachers and you could say scientists of the Western world, Tesla. Everybody knows Tesla. Even this Albert Einstein. There was a group of those scientists in early century who were studying Bhagavad Gita. They were looking at Bhagavad Gita to see that this Bhagavad Gita somehow is a thread which runs through the life of all societies, all cultures. It's not something that's just particular to India. And Bhagavad Gita, by the way, is amongst the world's most, or I think it's one of the 3 most translated manuscripts in the world. Bhagavad Gita is translated into more languages besides the Bible and Quran. Those 3 books. So that shows you that the interest is there. And in the Western world, even if people don't have this idea of even the Bhagavad Gita, there's principles of Dharma, Artha, Karma, and Moksha. They're universal. Veda Vyasa, this great Rishi Vyasa, his writing was so amazing that the time-worn efficacy, the time-worn greatness and validity of Bhagavad Gita is applicable definitely today, very much. And this is a wonderful day. We've just heard students reciting Bhagavad Gita verses. I feel privileged to have been invited by yourself.
Thank you very much.
No, and nothing happens without reason. And I give all praise for whatever I know to my Guruji, Swami Lakshman Ju from Kashmir. And as long as I can continue to, in whatever way small, that I can pass on his message and what I've learned from him, then I feel like I'm doing something good.
Okay, thank you very much. Hope we will be in touch, and time by time you will enlighten us. So thank you very much for this talk and for your address and for your visit to the Department of Sanskrit of this Jammu University. Anything else?
My privilege. And in India we have the Ishwar Ashram Trust, which has been set up to have centers and propagate teaching of Kashmir Shaivism, because this is part of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir state.
Yeah.
But it feels very auspicious that this is the first time, I think, that we've had a presentation about Swami Lakshman Ju's teaching and his contribution to Kashmir Shaivism here in Jammu. So, and next year there's a plan for a seminar, which will be yes.
In March.
We can do that.
In March there will be a seminar, and in the US, of course, although we're separated by distance, in the US we have a Universal Shaiva Fellowship and a Lakshman Ju Academy, and we're presenting even Bhagavad Gita. We've been doing for 2.5 years as a free webinar, as taught by our Guru Swami Lakshman Ju.
That's good.
Yes.
And
So
he was based on his recordings.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time. And friends, keep sharing, keep commenting your valuable, keep posting your valuable comments, and keep sharing your Vedic Updates YouTube channel. हम आगे भी इस प्रकार के और भी वीडियोस लाते रहेंगे आपके लिए वैल्यूएबल। जॉर्ज सर का आज हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। हम आपका हृदय से आभारी हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you very much. Om Shanti.